Jessii Vee, and in today's video I'm going to be continuing the It's Near You series. I know this series is requested a lot and I'm so sorry I don't do it very often, but I'm kind of changing things up a little bit because for the past like 4 or 5 years I've just been concentrating on different states, and I finally just want to move to different countries and places around the world. I'll probably jump back and forth. I just feel like it's unfair to always do the states, and this series has been going on for such a long time. So today's video is the It's Near You about France. And I've actually been to France before and I've seen a couple of these locations, so I'm really excited about that. But comment down below where you're from because I'll probably do places that most people come from. But of course I will get to them all, I'm sure. Before we get started though, I have a very exciting new product to show you that we just put on our website. It is a galaxy projector for your bedroom. Now I'm currently filming in the middle of the day, so I'm gonna try and close the curtains and turn off the lights so I can show you, but it might be a little bit difficult. But this is what the light looks like. It's like a little orb on a stand. It can go on your dresser, anywhere in your room. So let me try and close these curtains. Ooh. Look how cool this is. It's so pretty. It changes different colors and it's hard to tell in this room, but if you put it in your bedroom, the entire walls and ceilings all around you will light up with stars and all these really pretty colors. I mean, look at that. It's literally so mesmerizing. Okay, so like I showed you, it comes like this. It comes with the charging cable. And what's really cool is that it also comes with a diffuser. So if you don't want to use it as a projector because it's really bright when you're sleeping, you put the diffuser on and then it becomes a night light, which is so cool. This functions a million different ways. So yeah, if you guys would like one, I will link it down below. They are limited quantity. So if you want your fall to be magical and your room to be like a galaxy, definitely check this out. Okay guys, so let's talk about some haunted locations in France. This first one is called the Devil's Door, and this is located at Notre Dame, which I actually went to with my parents. And back then I was super into photography, so I was taking photos of everybody else but myself. So I took this photo of my parents, but they're standing literally right in front of the cathedral, in front of the Devil's Doors. And now that I know the history of them, it's so much creepier. I'm almost kind of glad I didn't know back when I went there because I probably would not have gone through them. Okay, so here's how the story goes, and a lot of this is actually real history. So there was this talented blacksmith named Biscornet, and he lived back in the 13th century. And he was commissioned to create Notre Dame's doors. Now he was so overwhelmed by the magnitude of this task that he ended up asking the devil for help, which you should never ever do. So the devil agreed and he told Biscornet that he would help him create these amazing huge doors, but in return he had to give him his soul in the end. Now Biscornet accepted this offer, and on the day of the reveal the doors exceeded everybody's expectations. They were completed in a suspiciously short amount of time and people said it was almost too good, and soon after a rumor filled Paris that the work couldn't possibly have been done by mortal hands. There were also these really weird stories from citizens who said that they would go and visit his art studio during the creation of these doors and they would find him passed out on the floor sleeping while the doors were being magically created. The priests of Notre Dame also fanned the flames by claiming the door's locks refused to work until they were sprinkled with holy water. And despite insisting to people that he alone was the only artist, this young metalsmith could not shake the accusations. So the story claims that he died soon after because of all the stress of these rumors, which only confirmed in people's minds that in order to fulfill the contract, the devil had returned for Biscornet's soul. So people always wonder, is this legend really true? Because even modern day metal experts can't explain how the ironwork could have been done with the limited tools of the Middle Ages, and how it could have only been done by one man. And also, Biscornet's name actually means something really creepy if you break it down. In French, bis means two or twice, and cornet means horn, so the two-horned one. So that's lovely. Like I said, we saw these doors back in 2014, and I remember being so amazed by them, the level of detail. You could stand there looking at them for hours and still not see everything. And I was so sad when the fire occurred in 2019, and right after they diffused the flames, archaeologists were called in to help restore and conserve the cathedral. And as they were doing this, they found a human-shaped lead sarcophagus during the restoration, and it is believed the remains belong to a 14th century senior church official. So there's just a lot of secrets and mystery and legends about this church, and although it is beautiful and it's magnificent, it also has some dark history. So I thought that was super interesting. Okay, our next haunted place is the Chateau de Tréquisson, also the legend of the Silent Girl. This is a medieval castle in the Brittany region of France. From the outside, it's an impressive looking building attracting tourists from all over the world, but don't be fooled by its outward charm. The chateau is famous for its terrifying ghost stories. This story is so tragic, and usually spirits come from really tragic events. So this is how the story goes. One night, many years ago, a black coach stopped near the moat and two men got out of it. They used shovels and picks to dig a deep grave in silence. And from the coach, they dragged out this poor girl dressed as a bride. Apparently her face was just as pale as her dress, and she wasn't crying, she wasn't begging for mercy. She honestly did not even look like she was in distress. She was completely silent the entire time. They threw her in the grave they just dug and put dirt over her face. So they were essentially burying her alive, and she made not one sound. Well, the men then rode off into the darkness thinking that they had just gotten away with it, but a local man saw the entire thing. He was hiding in the trees, and so he ran and gathered the other villagers to help. They dug her up and tried to save her, but by sunrise she had died without saying a word. They never knew who she was or why these men had killed her, but it was not the last time that people saw her. In the centuries since then, locals have sworn they still hear her ghost floating on the waters of the moat, still in her wedding dress and still deathly silent. There's also a story about a tourist that was taking photos of the castle on a rainy day when he suddenly felt this tap on his back, and he looked behind him to see this woman standing there in a white dress, just literally staring at him. He asked her if she was okay and if she needed any help, and she just shook her head and placed a finger over her mouth. He just couldn't understand why she wasn't speaking, so he turned around to see if she was with anybody, but when he turned back, of course, she was gone. And that's the tale of this really creepy castle, and this is super, super tragic. Then we have another creepy story from a different castle. This one is called Chateau de Brissac. This old French castle in the Loire Valley was first built in the 11th century. It's been almost 1,000 years since then, and its walls have seen some grisly deaths and hauntings. The most famous is the story of Charlotte, and she was the wife of Jacques de Brise, who was the lord of the castle in the 1400s. One night he came home from a hunt and had dinner with his wife Charlotte, and then afterwards they both went upstairs into their separate bedrooms to sleep. Now this marriage was said to be for political reasons and not love, hence why they had completely separate bedrooms, didn't sleep together at all. Well, that night he was woken up by his servant, who told him that Charlotte had another man in her room. So he flew into this blind rage, grabbed his sword, began attacking them. He was literally slashing and hacking away at their bodies. Apparently by the time they were dead, their bodies had almost 100 wounds inflicted. It was awful, and people say that her spirit never left the castle. It was awful, and people say that her spirit never left. Her traumatic death made her a ghost, cursed to haunt the castle forever. They say at night on the walls of the castle you can see a female ghost in a green dress with bloody, gaping holes all over her body, and she is silent except for when she returns to the room where she was murdered, where deathly moans and cries can be heard until dawn. So yeah, another tragic story. I could literally do a whole series on haunted castles around the world. And then lastly, we have the ghostly laughter of the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is a classic marriage proposal spot, but for one woman in the 1920s, an unwanted proposal allegedly turned into a nightmare. According to this urban legend, this man fell in love with this woman, and one day they both agreed to meet on top of the Eiffel Tower. But they both had very different intentions in mind. The man wanted wanted to propose to her, but she wanted to break up with him. She thought that the gorgeous Vee might help soften the blow. But before she got the chance to deliver her breakup speech, he got down on one knee and proposed, and she rejected the offer, and he allegedly pushed her off the side of the tower in a fit of rage. Some versions of the tale say that she just backed up and fell over the side by accident, but either way, she unfortunately did not survive the fall. And tourists have reported hearing her nervous giggles followed by harrowing screams in an eerie sonic progression that continues in an endless loop. So that is terrifying. I have also been to the Eiffel Tower. I did not hear any giggling, thank goodness. But yeah, those are the locations I wanted to talk about that are in France. Obviously, there are so many other haunted places, especially the catacombs, but I've done so many videos on the catacombs. But guys, comment down below where in the world you want me to do next. And don't forget, if you would like our new light up projector, I have linked it down below. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Bye.